Hey there, welcome back friends. In this video we will talk about exceptions. Now in here we have this demo.java file. So we will check this file. First of all, we have a method, a get method, which will handle all the request to this /URI. Means this method would be called for the base URL, which will display hello jaxrs, very simple. And if we add in a /demo, then we will be able to read a header value, and we will simply read the information and display this on our web page. Alright, so let me show you how this will work. So if we navigate to the home page, here is the response hello jaxrs, and if we try to navigate to demo, then we are getting a text where the value of the header is null. And if we add a header by the name of header and add some test value, for example, then we will definitely get a proper response. This is okay, but usually we should return JSON, and we will talk about JSON in a minute. But for example, in here, we would like to throw an exception if we don't find the value of header in our header, right? So in here, we will simply type in if header equal to null. In that case, what we will do is we will simply throw a exception. So it would be like throw new, and we will use the base package, which is exception. So it would be like throw new exception, and we will also pass on a very simple message as the value of custom header not found. Let me copy this particular part and paste this in here. So it would be like the value of custom header not found. Alright, so this looks good. Alright, now friends, how this exception would be handled automatically is something which we will try to understand. Let us check whether the context has been reloaded or not. So the context has been reloaded. Let us navigate to Postman and let us send in the request. Alright, so as of now we have this value header, so the response is perfect. The status is 200, take a note of it. But if we remove the header value and then try to request, then what is the outcome? The outcome is crash, and this crash is being handled by Tomcat. So this is not good. This is handled by Apache Tomcat. This is not good. Understand that this particular application is a RESTful application, and RESTful application are for machine level consumption. No human will able to check this stack trace. This is for human consumption. As a result, we should return a proper response in a proper format, possibly in a JSON format. So what is the solution? Somehow we need to handle the exception, and indeed there is a way. In here we are simply throwing an exception. But now moving forward, we won't throw a exception of exception type, rather we will throw a exception of different type. When it comes to Jersey implementation, there is something known as web application exception. So in here, in place of exception, let me copy this particular message first of all. In place of exception, we can use a different approach. In here, we will make use of web application exception, and that's it. In fact, this is a method which is provided by Jersey implementation. Now the exception should be handled properly, right? So let us quickly run this application once again. I have stopped the web server. Let us navigate to Postman. The server is up and running. Let us quickly navigate to this URI. Let us hit enter, and here is the response. Somehow many of the details are gone, but still Apache Tomcat is handling the message. Why this is the case? The reason being, in here if we check our code, let me expand this. In here there are like multiple version of web application exception is available. One type accept status, then we also have response, we also have the throwable clause. We can also add in like multiple things like a message and a response. So there are like multiple things which we can do, And if we provide sufficient information to this constructor, then only this application, then only Jersey will be able to handle the situation properly. Now let us do one small little thing. In here, if we check one of the method accepts a response, right? So we can like create a response and send in the response, and that way we would be able to provide a proper message. Alternatively, even if we don't send in a response, we can explicitly specify a message and the status. So this is a better way. Let me give a message as the value of custom header not found, and then let us do one small little thing. Let us give the status as, for example, 404. This is good. This is nice. All right. Let us check the context. All right, reloading is done. Let us navigate to Postman. Now, if we check the response is 404 not found, but still the response is not proper. Why? Because we haven't added any entity. We need to add a payload. Then only we would be able to handle the things properly. In order to do that, definitely we need to add a response. We need to add, and in order to add a response, first of all, let us create a response. So it would be like response equals response dot status. In here we will get a method by the name of status. We will give the status as 404. Now let us also pass in a entity. This is very important. So in here we need to pass in a entity, and to the entity we will directly add in a string, which would be not found, for example. Or in fact, let us give this message. Here we go. And once we have done with entity, let us build this particular response. So this is looking good, and now we can like simply send in this response to this constructor of a web application exception type. So this looks good to me, and now again let us test whether we have succeeded. So in here, now when we are getting this exception 404, what is the output? The value of custom header not found. Now friends, we are returning a string. A string is not okay, right? So in here, how we can return a JSON response when we are getting an exception. Now this is something which we will check in our next video, and then there are like a couple of more things related to exception handling which needs to be discussed. Now before ending this video, let us also quickly check one small little thing. In here we will pass on a header, and the value would be test. Then again there won't be any exception. The status is 200 and everything is working properly. Alright, so this is it for today's video. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day.